once again. It's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw!
Yeehaw. Good morning, everybody.
Good Monday morning. Not only a good morning, it's a good Monday morning to all the Cornbread Nation and the Breadheads. By the way, we've been growing a little bit on that Facebook group. For those that follow us, make sure you're in there. We need to give you an invite. We will. Drop us a line. When you see this, I don't think we have anybody here yet this morning. They'll be dropping in. But that's growing. And a guy I used to work with, I invited him. He joined. Sent out three welcomes last night. My sister joined. And somebody else, I'm not sure who they are, but that's okay. Maybe somebody you know, or maybe it's somebody, a friend of a friend. I don't know. But the Cornbread Nation. Well, it was a busy weekend. Hopefully for you, you got a chance to get some things done. Had a good day at church. We were a little bit gimpy, as I call it, this weekend, where me and my wife, we were just a little bit I had a knee bother me, and she had fallen a couple of days ago, and she was really kind of sore and just having a rough go. But that happens. But we had a good time besides that. Got a few things done.
Well, that gimpiness spread all the way to South Georgia. We were gimpy all weekend too.
Oh man, I feel a little bit better. My knee's still, it'll never be great, probably unless I get some surgery, but I'm trying to hold off on that as long as I can, and maybe it'll just last me the rest of my life. So I don't need major, I don't think, but it just flares up every once in a while. But yeah, the weather's not been too bad. It's upper 80s for us. A little bit of rain coming in, so the humidity's not been real bad. So the weather's been actually fairly pleasant up this way.
Well, you need to send some of that down this way.
I mean, it's warm, but it's not like the baking like we had before. So I'm sure we'll get another blast. We're not deep enough into August to start looking at any kind of cool down, but it's not been as bad. So I do hope so. I want to wish my oldest son, not my youngest. I had the youngest one last night. We were recording with him a little bit. My oldest son, Jeremy's birthday is today. Happy birthday, Jeremy.
Well, happy birthday, Jeremy. How old is he going to be?
I'm not going to tell his age. He might not like that.
Guys don't care about that. That's women folk. And I promise you, Jeremy's not for women folk. He ain't going to care. Is he younger than 40?
Yeah, he's still under 40. Barely, okay. But he's still under 40.
Okay, so here's the deal. That's not a matter of Jeremy being worried about it. That's a matter of you being worried about it, because that'll get you close to your age.
Yeah, he's August 12th and firstborn. My wife had a sugar imbalance with both the boys, and I'll never forget it. It was a madhouse day. I was at work. They said, you got 30. If you want to see your son born, you got 30 minutes to get to the hospital from way out in Brainerd all the way out to Fort O. So during lunch hour. I mean, it was crazy. I rushed in there, rushed up. They rushed me back down to sign her in, get all the paperwork, and then rush back up. They throw it again on me. I mean, it was like something out of a movie, man. It was like this run. I mean, I was just, and I didn't know it at the time, but I had no clue what was going on. Nobody told me anything, but I was. She had went to the doctor, and the doctor said, "We're going now." Her blood pressure and different things was all over the place. So, but anyway, the point I was going to get to when they delivered him, or they took him cesarean section, but he was just too big. But doctor, I seen him come up with that leg. He said, "Yeah, it looks like a 12-pounder." I thought he was joking, but then I looked at how big he was versus all the other little babies in the thing. It was like something out of a movie again. Like I said, he was almost 12 pounds. He was going all that sugar. So for my son, he lost weight for the first 2 weeks. he got down, about 8 pounds and something, and then started going back up. Both of them were like that, but Jeremy was the heavier one. But 12-pounder? Are you kidding me? I thought it sounded like a fishing show or something.
That's what I was just thinking. Sound like a 12-pounder. Oh my goodness! What'd they do? Break out the fishing scales?
They let me rush him into the thing. They had all kind of. He had some health issues because of that, and then they had to get him under control. So we didn't really hold him for 3 days. So, but anyway, great memories. Happy birthday. That's my oldest, Jeremy. So he's working this morning.
Jeremy. You made it.
He made it.
and
you know what he's thinking about on his birthday, because he's been meaning to take care of it. The only thing he's thinking about today is not his birthday. Got to get them tags.
Oh yeah,
they're not real bad.
Just for the record, down here in South Georgia today, the high is 97.
Yay!
Heat index of 102.
Yeah.
Y'all be careful down here in South Georgia in this heat today.
Be a good day to be in a pool.
It got cool for a couple of days after that storm, but don't let it fool you. It ain't over yet.
Of course, a lot of folks still recovering from hurricane, and a lot of recovery efforts, I'm sure. It's going to take a while. I mean, the damage wasn't as bad as before, but still, I know there were roads that washed out, roads that collapsed, people's homes flooded. There's lots going on. Hey, over the preseason football weekend, I didn't know if you saw this, but old Stetson Bennett, he had a rough game, but he had the game-winning touchdown drive for the Rams over the Cowboys. I know it's preseason, but it was like 4 seconds left. It's like one of those classic Georgia. He rolls out. I mean, he almost gets hit, sacked. Kind of comes out of it, rolls out to the right. Guys chased him, and he like somebody said, looked like Brett Favre or maybe Mahomes. The way he was reaching kind of back and slung that ball, perfect line shot to the guy open in the end zone. They win the game. So that's Stetson Bennett. He'll have those moments where you're like, "What are you doing?" I mean, you throw an interception, but if there was ever a young guy that was made for the big moment, it was that guy. He just does not fluster on something like that. He has that great ability to be. They say to be a pitcher or anybody, really be. I mean, elite. I'm not saying he's elite, because I think he could be very good, but he has that talent, which is very hard to have, where he just doesn't even think about the play before. He doesn't get down. He does not let, he had 4 picks in that game. If he's not doesn't have that quality, he never makes that play. But he's always to the next play. And it reminds me of that championship game. Remember, it wasn't going good, that against Alabama. I mean, they were behind. He rolls out, he tries to throw the ball away, ends up being a fumble. I mean, it was like there were a lot of people at that moment were like saying quarterback change. Rolled into halftime. There's a lot. I mean, there's doom and gloom across the Bulldog Nation or whatever it was. I think it was halftime. Anyway, he comes back with that really big pass play into the end zone for the touchdown. From that point forward, he just clicked. And anyway, he's made for those kind of moments. A lot of the young quarterbacks did good from the rookie class this year. Jaden Daniels and Washington. They didn't play a lot, but they look good. Bo Nix. He had another guy who had some picks, but he rose to the moment. They had a couple of touchdown drives, I think 3 maybe, something like that. And then Caleb Williams up in Chicago, they love what they see there. So it's going to be interesting to see how this goes for some of those guys. One more thing, I know CeeDee Lamb is still holding out in Dallas. They've got to get that done. Jerry Jones sent out a message, "We're missing you." CeeDee Lamb's thinking, "Show me the money, and I'll be right. I'll be right beside you," because he's wanting that payday, And then there was another player I think that got hurt, but the Olympics are over. They closed out, and the Braves lose again. Oh. But the Mets and the Phillies both went down. But you just get tired of hoping that'll happen. You just want to see the Braves win. It was a close game, but they go down. So Braves lose, Falcons lose, but They showed some good things. I really like, Penix looked good. I mean, I'm not, Cousins are protecting, but at least you know that he can get out there and sling. I just make a prediction that Penix is going to be the guy sometime during the season, just because I think Cousins is going to get hurt. He's just the age factor and the injury. I hope not. Hey, there's Daniel. Good morning, Daniel.
How's the sugar britches this morning?
Good to see him pop in here.
Hey, let me back up just a little bit. You said a comment a minute ago was talking about Stetson. You said he may not be elite, but I'm going to throw something out there. Every time someone has said that he's not about Stetson Bennett, anytime someone has said, well, he's just not elite. He's not the guy that's going to get us there. He's not. Don't do it. He'll prove you wrong every stinking time, it seems like.
Well, you miss. I don't mean it that way. When I say that they say he's not elite, what I'm saying is by the measurables, that's what I mean, that he's got it. By the measurables, he's not elite, that he's not big enough, that, his arm's not this or his hands are not this or whatever. But he has the best moxie I've ever seen on a guy. And he does have some great moves to escape trouble with. In the NFL, you're going to have that.
Oh yeah.
He's a riverboat gambler. He'll throw the ball sometimes where he shouldn't. I mean, Kirby would get so mad, and I'm sure in that game they were not happy. Of course, I know it's preseason, but he has those. I don't know if he'll ever be a starter. What I mean, like elite NFL quarterback. I don't know if by the standard if he'll ever be that. I don't know, but I do know this kid can play, and he can get out there and mix it up. And he has the legs, and he has the brains and the brawn. Just the like I said, it's the brass tacks, man. He goes out there in the biggest moment when everybody's rooting against him, and the guy will make an unbelievable play. Now he'll make some bonehead plays. I always said you just hope that his bad plays were just limited and they weren't too costly, because it wasn't every game, but a lot of games he would do that. But he would come back and then just make crazy plays. Sometimes, I mean, he smoked many great defenders, middle linebackers, just had them out of their cleats. Some of those moves he has, and you're looking at him, and he's this smaller white guy who you don't and running up the seam. He would outrun some folks. They were shocked, I think, a little bit at his speed. They would take the wrong angle on him. Of course, it's NFL now. Everybody's got elite whatever. But he showed yesterday that he can do that. He showed it before, I believe. Of course, he had whatever happened to him. There's a lot of rumors about what happened to him. He took a year off. But he looked sluggish. He looked going and ready to go. And I know the coach was fired up on the sideline. I'll give this. The coach really believes in him.
Yes.
And I think that is really important, because Kirby really believed in him. There was a lot of pressure on Kirby. There was a lot of pressure on Kirby to turn the reins over to Beck. And there were times Kirby was, chewing him out pretty hard. But one of the endearing moments will be when the second championship game and taking him out of the game, and he comes out and he gives him that hug and a pat on the back of the head and stuff. And it was the last time he was ever going to play for Georgia. It was right there. Last time he'd have that uniform on and be coming off the field. And, that was just one of those job well done. I mean, you done it, you're a 2-time champion. And, there's going to be a dynamic between those two. It's like any great coach or great player. They're going to have a history together where it'll be fun to see them in the years to come as he comes back to Georgia and maybe addresses the team, or he's just coming to an event or whatever. I will say he will always be at the coach's table. Let me just say that.
Yeah. I'm going to make a prediction. I think, personally, Stetson Bennett's your next starter up there. I think he'll make it. I think he'll make it out of sheer guts, because he wants to make it and he's driven to succeed. And he proved that at Georgia. I think he'll be the next starter just to prove everybody wrong, if for no other reason.
Well, there's always the opportunity that there's injury there too. I mean, the guy that he's playing behind, the old the old Georgia guy, and I say old, do all due respect, he could get hurt.
Yeah.
So you know, who knows? Who knows what could happen? He's still very young, learning those things. He kind of, I mean, you think about some of these smaller guys that have done well, and one of the first ones you think of is Doug Flutie. Flutie was a guy that was counted out, and of course he had the big Hail Mary pass. Oh my goodness, I can't even think of who they were playing against now. It's a classic college game, but he come up, had some decent games and stuff, and then there was a couple of other players that were like that, young players that smaller stature. Or let's go into other sports like basketball, Mookie Blaylock. I mean, this guy, what was he, 5'4" or something like that?
Yeah.
Very, very short. But you those players kind of get counted out sometimes. But like you said, you can't measure the heart. I say the moxie. They just find a way to do it. Again, they can't do it like others can. They're not a 6'4" cyborg back there that backs up and they can look over everybody and just laser shot the ball. They have to find throwing lanes. They have, Joe Montana was, his arm wasn't elite, I don't think, but boy, he played elite, did he not?
Yes, he did.
He found he was accurate and he was smart, and he didn't get flustered in the big moment. In fact, I think I've mentioned this before we move on to another topic, but they were down in that Super Bowl, and the team, they've got the ball. It's the last time they're going to get the ball. He comes out there. This is classic redirect. And he looks in the eyes of the players, and they don't have the look of champions. They look like we're not going to be able to do this, And he realizes it's just, it's the pressure. The pressure is on. The whole world is watching. It's a Super Bowl. And he looks up. I don't even know if he saw him. He could have made. I think he did, but whether he did or didn't, he goes, "Hey, look, there's John Candy up in the stands. That's pretty cool," or something like that. And he gets their attention off the game, and they look, "John Candy, you're talking about John Candy?" And then he looks at him and he's basically like, "Let's go win this thing." That's exactly what they did. I mean, he just knew how to control that psychological part in the midst of a big game. And so Stetson Bennett, I didn't know this. Somebody was mocking him online, and I know Georgia, like any college fans, they could be brutal. They said, well, down at Georgia, they called him Stepson Bennett. I don't know that I heard that before. Not saying it wasn't there. And I just looked at some of the comments because they were showing the clip of the highlight of where he led the touchdown drive to win the game. And then they were, down at Georgia, they called him Stepson Bennett. I never heard that. We were always supportive. I will remember this. I was working with a lady, she's a Bama fan. Remember that game he had against Florida like two years before? And not Florida, whoever it was, and it was not Florida. Yeah, maybe it was Florida. He come out and he just annihilated them, and then she said, "Oh, looks like Georgia has found a quarterback." I mean, because we had some quarterback issues right before that.
Yes,
it just wasn't working out. But then they play Alabama, and they get to the Alabama game. It starts out good, then it's a disaster. And I remember her saying, "Well, I thought you had a quarterback." It's kind of a backhanded slap, And I was thinking, I didn't like how it turned out. I mean, obviously we lost. It was an ugly game. He didn't play great. But I thought, how did we get – it's one game. How all of a sudden he's there, but he's not there. And, but he had to find his way. I mean, I really think that is one day should be a sports movie. I've always thought that. Because, he was the kid that nobody wanted, seemingly. They gave him a chance. It kind of blowed up in his face. He left and went to junior college. Then he got a call, come back, and wins out and wins 2 championships. It'd be a great sports movie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying that because it's Georgia. It'd be a great sports movie. I mean, he's from over at Blackshear, Georgia, Rob. Yes. I don't know if you've ever been over at Blackshear.
No.
I think he holds the keys to the city.
Yeah, and you think about the Stetson Bennett story versus, let's say, Rudy. Okay. Stetson Bennett versus Rudy. Stetson Bennett actually got to win the championship.
It's a much better story. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Any Notre Dame fans out there, I like the movie. I do.
Yeah.
It's touching. But that movie is they gloss some of that stuff as they do in movies. Some of that wasn't exact, and they made that a little bit bigger than it was. Although I'm not taking it away, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that with this one. This one is what it is. But I hope they could, if they make it just about college, they could go now. But maybe they'll just wait. Somebody will get the idea. What if he did make it to the starter of the NFL team? Then make the movie.
If it's going to happen, and he's going to surprise everybody because he will step up. And the football world's going to be in trouble. They're going to say, Brett, who? No, I'm not taking anything away from Brett Favre. Okay, no, he's had a monster career, and I would never take. But I got to throw that in there because I'm still behind Stetson Bennett 100%. I was behind him 100% when I was in college, and I probably started a lot of those fights that was going on about who should be quarterback in Georgia. I said they already got a quarterback in Georgia. Shut up. I look forward to seeing that little sucker come out on the field every week. And you was talking about little guys in sports. Let's talk about real quick. I got a little guy story from baseball.
All right.
It's one of my favorite sports things of all times. And it was Rafael Belliard. You remember him?
I do remember him.
One of the most awesome defensive players ever. I mean, nobody could handle shortstop like he could. Nobody. And he was a little guy. He was awesome there.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
He was not a power swinger by no means. And I will never forget, Fred McGriff was playing with the Braves at the time. And Belliard got a hold of one and launched it out of the ballpark. He never hit home runs. I think it was like his first one of the year. May have been the first one for 2 years. He was a good hitter, but he wasn't hitting home runs.
Right.
And as he's running around the bases, he looks over at Fred McGriff and goes like this. And he comes all the way around and scores. The next time he was up, they walked him. And he goes in there and tells Fred McGriff now, big old Fred McGriff, looks up at him and says, they're afraid of my power. And of course, he had to have a translator to put it out there. They're afraid of my power. Now, come on.
Classic.
Got to go up to Fred McGriff.
Of course, the classic, the most famous, probably not little, but just big moment like that out of a guy you don't expect it is the Rick Camp home run. They ran out of hitters. He's the pitcher, as they would always say, Rick Camp from Tryon, Georgia. They would always pronounce it that way. And Rick Camp gets up there and blasts a home run.
Wow.
He was an old farmer from Tryon, but he could pitch the ball.
Yeah. He could do it. Hey, we're getting a crowd in from X this morning. Hey, we're glad all y'all are with us.
Absolutely.
Come on in. Off great.
Happy Monday for the Southern Fried Podcast and Cornbread Nation, we call ourselves. And for our followers, you're the breadheads.
Yes.
So we like our cornbread heads.
Hey, don't be upset about the title breadheads. I mean, Jim Buffett was the parrot heads.
Yeah.
We're not going to be parrot heads. We're going to be bread heads.
Yeah.
It's early in the morning. We still got dough in there. We got to knead up and get going.
Well, there's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. So, yeah. Well, we looked at weather and sports and looking forward to a good work week, maybe. Lots of things going on. We'll be very busy with we've got a lot of things going on the podcast. And of course, we're on a lot of streams. We just launched onto Apple Podcasts. So not everything will go up there that we do, but a lot of the longer form morning shows, our Wednesday hump day evening show and Friday night front porch, all that type of stuff will go up there. I do want to mention, especially X has been really good. We do a Saturday Veteran of the Week. We honor veterans. If you've got a veteran, send that information to us and we'd be glad to get them. We've had one come in already. You see our email there across the scroll, coming across the screen, And send us the information, a picture if you got it too. We'll be glad to honor them. Look for that on Saturdays. We love to honor our vets. And it's always very touching to put those things together. Very touching.
Yes.
I feel like I'm a part of them a little bit as I read about them and what they did. You just feel it's a great honor. You know that there's someone grieving out there that if they were lost in war, if they were just a veteran who served, then you have great pride and all that, and still maybe it's you. If you want to put yourself up there, we'll honor you. But your service is important to us.
Yes.
In this day and time that I don't, for most people, we still do that. We've gotten upside down in this nation where people, it probably has the seeds of it are probably in Vietnam, I guess, but there's still those people. They just anti-military. They used to say that for every military person, they touched like, I don't know, like there was like 7 people out of that was, kind of touched by that. It's a little less than that now because a lot of families don't know anybody in the military. That's hard to believe, but that's true. That there were 7 touches, for on average or whatever. But a lot of people don't know anybody in the military. And so they have no appreciation, maybe. I'm not saying all of them, but there's a lot of them that have an appreciation for what sacrifices they go to and for the nation, even if that's just serving right here in the United States. You don't go overseas. You're serving,
Yes.
but especially those that go into hot spots and are serving all them thousands of soldiers, that DMZ right there between North and South Korea, that thing could blow up at any minute. We don't ever know.
That's right.
What could happen with that. But yeah, there's soldiers we have all over the world and on the seas and under the sea and in the air.
Under the sea.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a submarine?
No.
Well, I've never
if I
been
can't
down.
open up a window, I don't got no desire to go into it.
I've never been down in an active one, but I've went through one that was you could tour, and for a taller guy like me, that would have been horrible. Well, I don't like the cost. I wouldn't want to do it, but you have to duck going through every doorway.
Well, those same type ship doors are on ships too. You got a duck going through them. It's the same type doors. You got to and the knee knocker at the bottom. You got to make sure you pick your feet up going through them doors because those doors are made to seal. And it's a piece of iron there. You don't pick your feet up, you can say goodbye to your shin.
Do you remember that story? It was a few years ago, and I want to think it was an aircraft carrier, but I think. And there was a guy, he had an office or a work area down in the ship, and something about the walls and stuff, as he would walk down the hallways and stuff around, it didn't make sense to him. He felt like there was a space that couldn't be accessed. And it just one of those things that kind of stuck in his brain. He'd think on it and he'd forget about it. But finally, he's convinced there's something wrong here. So he gets other people involved. And they see what he's seeing. Nobody's ever noticed. This thing's been, in service. Nobody's noticed it. Well, they got their people and they cut a hole in the wall. And what they found was one of the old workshops where they were building the ship. They still had equipment in there. And they just sealed it up. Somebody didn't think about that, sealed it up, and it went to sea like that. But they found it was a smaller one. They probably had several all over the ship as they were building it. And they had lathes and a lathe, and they had something else, and I don't know, tools. That it was a little workshop, not huge, but it was a decent enough size space. And they took pictures and put that out there. Ain't that amazing that somebody? How do you miss that? How did not somebody go, hey, wait a minute, you sealed that up. We got to. That's part of the space we're going to use because you don't waste the space on a ship. I mean,
no. I'll tell you, that's amazes me. But one of the things he's talking about carriers and being worked on, I got to see the USS Carl Vinson completely out of water.
Oh wow!
And when it was in dry dock in Bremerton, and if you've never, you can't even imagine, dude, the sheer size of one of these things. You cannot even imagine.
Yeah.
It is absolutely amazing. Just the props on one of those things, because it's got 3 props in the back. That center prop, oh my gosh. I mean, you cannot even imagine the sheer size and scope of this thing. Oh man, that was Mm.
and when you look at the size of the current class of carriers versus those that were in, say, World War II, it's no comparison.
No.
It really is no comparison. Hey, let's run a commercial or two, and then we'll get right back. We're about halfway through our morning show. Good morning to you. Stay with us.
Yeah.
We're just going to run a couple of quick commercials and of other shows and maybe ARA.
Yeah, and I'm going to turn the air conditioner down a little bit.
All right.
Be right back.
Here at the Southern Fried Podcast, one of the blessed things we've been able to do is partner with the wonderful people at Animal Rescue Alliance, Inc., ARA. These folks are a no-kill shelter in Donaldsonville, Georgia. You see the contact info on the screen. And these folks would love to have you come adopt a dog or a cat. They have folks that come from all over the United States, not just the state of Georgia. They're great folks. It's been a wonderful partnership between Southern Fried Podcast and ARA. And we've been blessed to meet some of the folks that have adopted animals from ARA. Also, we've been able to encourage people to donate and volunteer. They encourage volunteers that are in the area, and they're just wonderful people. We'd love for you to contact them, meet them too, go on their website, see some of the animals, and we know you'll want to partner with them too by taking a dog or a cat to their forever home. Join with us, the Southern Fried Podcast, in support of this great work of the Animal Rescue Alliance, Inc., ARA. We know you'll be happy you did. I know we are. Hey, this is Dave with the Southern Fried Podcast. Please join us each Wednesday evening as we go live for Hump Day News, where we talk about a little bit of everything. We'll laugh a little bit. We'll tell you a little bit of sports news and other news that's going on. Each Wednesday evening at 7 p.m., join us for the SFP Hump Day News live. You're midweek, making your way through another work week. Join us, and we'll try to make you laugh a little bit and keep your day a little brighter. Hey, this is Dave with the Southern Fried Podcast. You know, one of the favorite things that we do is sit out on the front porch with a glass of sweet tea and just talk about whatever. That's what you do on the front porch. Wave at the neighbors as they go by, or even a stranger. We're friendly people, and we like to just talk about whatever. You never know what Rob and Dave are going to talk about on the front porch, and sometimes Chris joins us, and then you really don't know what we're going to talk about. We'll laugh a little bit, we'll shock each other, and maybe, just maybe, you'll join in with us and chat with us on the front porch. Join us live for Front Porch Talking each Friday night at 7 p.m. That's your friends here at the Southern Fried Podcast.
Put you back up there. You didn't even expect it.
I didn't, but I'm glad you did. I was just catching up on a little bit of news. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for staying with us. And join our other programs if you can. We appreciate it. Of course, they're always out on our streams after they go live. They're sitting there for you. I know life is busy, but we appreciate it. We got some faithful watchers, and we appreciate that. And we're picking up new ones all the time. And some we don't hear from, some we do. But we are always glad to see you. Rob, I wanted to I've got a little thing here in a minute we might do, but from the Olympics, just sort of a wrap up, and we haven't talked about it, and I'm not poking fun, but it really did make, and it still makes a lot of news, is the Australian so-called break dancer. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I tried not to.
I mean, 0 points. I mean, I read a little bit about what she had to say. I mean, she says, I'm 36. I can't compete with these others. So I tried to do artistic things, but I thought the idea was to break dance. I mean, I'm not into that at all. I mean, at all. Like, I'm not. But how do you get, here's my question. How did she get that far? I mean, how did somebody not say along the way, is that the best breakdancer that Australia has to offer? How did she get through that, vetting process? And then how did she just all the way through? Well, I don't know how they do that. If they had world breakdancing championships or whatever, I'd like to go back and look. And I'm not I think she's got a great attitude, and she was fun and loves her country. But some of those moves, like she was trying to honor Australian, I get it, the koala or the kangaroo, whatever. I think she did the kangaroo for sure.
We got to
But
do it the Tim Conway way. The koala.
but I I've never seen nothing like that. I mean, I've seen athletes that have it didn't happen. They fell off the beam or whatever. But it just amazes me it got that far. By the way, I don't even think it's there next year. I think it's like in and out. Like that'll be it. Like there's nobody from Australia ever going to be able to compete at the Olympics and try to, have a better outcome for Australia. But I will say this, because of that, she gave them more attention than she probably would have got if she'd done decent. I mean,
Yeah.
seriously, maybe not in the way they wanted, but I didn't know if you saw it. It was, I would.
I tried not to, and I still don't even want to think about it.
I only watched it because they said 0 points. I thought 0. I mean, you think you'd get a courtesy point or two, but it was that bad for their scoring. However they score that you get 0.
Now, I am going to throw this out there. Did you see some of the swimsuits that were worn in the Olympics? This caught my eye. It was from the Dutch, and it was a woman talking about it. And so I had to look into it a little bit. So they designed these swim trunks that, I mean, I don't know how many $100 a piece for these swim trunks. And nobody thought about what they would look like wet.
Yeah, they were
basically see-through. And
yeah, they were it was a fail. It was bad. It was really honestly disgusting how they did that. It's like it's like this past year. The specifications is what the company's saying, but the Major League Baseball uniforms were not good. I don't know. It's like, do you not have tests? Do you not have people? I mean, to me, you make a few, and then you send them out and you say, "How players try these on, see how they look. We feel good about it, but you're the customer, and then we'll make the run." I mean, how does it get that far? You would think your R&D and would be, I don't know. That's amazing to me. Of course, they said we made it by the specifications that we were asked to make. But the fans said, "Are you kidding me?" And so they had to back up and get rid of or change them out or whatever they did. I don't even, maybe they didn't, but I think they did. It's like one of those, if you've ever worked in color, what I mean by is, you're going to run you're the guy or the girl that's got to get the color right. You're testing it in the lab for the next run of red shirts. And they produce about 1,000 of them. And next thing you know, they've got them up there for quality control and they're all different shades of red. Like, what happened here? I mean, we can't sell these. I mean, these are going to be offs and seconds and throwaways. I mean, because the color spectrum is all over the place. It's like, what happened?
Well, so we made it the way you told us to. We didn't stop and look at them, but we went by your specs. And we've got eyes, and we could see it was wrong, but that was the specs you gave us.
That's one of those jobs where they say, a lot of people say, I should be allowed to do any job I want to do. It's discrimination if you don't let me do that job. But, you can't work in a lab unless you can see color. Maybe there's some things in a lab you can do for, strength and all that, but you can't work with color if you can't see color. You can't do it.
It's like you can't be a good judge of music if you can't hear or you got a 10 ear. You just can't do it.
People have to understand that,
But they're discriminating against me. I'm deaf, and they won't let me judge the music competition.
Yeah, I mean, there's just some things you can't do. I mean, that's just life. It's just there's certain things I can't do.
And that's some of the things I run across. I can't drive anymore.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm epileptic. I can't drive. You don't want me behind the wheel of a car out there and then have a seizure and where's the car going? Nobody knows. I don't know because I'm out. I can't do that. But I have to accept my limitations. It's not easy all the time. Don't get me wrong. But I don't feel people are being prejudiced against me because of it.
Let me ask you this: do you try to be the so-called backseat driver from the right-hand seat?
Oh, I do. And my wife knows it too. And I've gotten better because she's threatened to kill me, I think. Or you get the wife look. And or I'll start and she'll do this. And I'll quit. And
what is your biggest backseat driver thing? Is it being too close to the car in front?
Brakes. I'll hit the Flintstone brakes. And everybody who's ever taught a child to drive understands what the Flintstone brakes are. You're trying to stomp going through the floor to drag your feet across the road, trying to stop the car. And she laughs at me. She knows it ain't gonna work. I got this.
Yeah, they got these cameras that on cars, and they're facing out to catch all the traffic stuff, and those are neat. You get to see, unfortunately, wrecks or crazy stuff. But it would be good morning, Michael. But it would be great to have the camera turned around just for those instances where there's disagreements about how to drive. That would be great. That'd be gold. That'd be video gold right there. Like you don't do it that way. You're going too fast. You should have turned here. You're getting too close. Oh, and then the argument back. That would be great.
Oh my! Could you imagine? I mean, no, that would cause divorce rate to go up in this country quickly. No, we can't do that.
No, I didn't say it would be great. I just said it'd be video gold.
It would be.
The fallout would be bad.
And I've seen these videos where they've got like a semi. They'll pull in behind a semi that's being towed by another semi, and all you can see is the front of the semi. And they'll have a video there or soundbite where they're playing the air horn, and they'll pull up in behind the car, pull up in behind that semi, and it's right there in front of you. It's facing you. And they'll hit that air horn thing, and they'll go, boom, everybody starts screaming. And then, of course, the person up in the passenger seat's dead asleep. As soon as they open their eyes, there's the semi, and they're like, bah! I love it. That's comedy gold right there. But no, what you're talking about is going to end people's relationship.
You're saying you don't want it in the old vehicle with you and Jen?
No, because I can hear it now because I'm probably the world's worst at it about it. And see right there. See, I told you I had it. And she does. She's a great driver. I can't help it.
Well, some people, they like to tell you they want to be your GPS from the other seat. If you'll turn here, you'll save. It's like one of those Jocko. You'll save $20 if you'll turn here. You'll cut 20 seconds off the journey. This is a better way. I do this all the time. And it just drives you crazy. I mean, generally, if it's great and will help you, you're fine. But it's like constantly, it's like, well, you need to get over here because and you already know this. Up the street, the turn lane is on the left side, and you got to get in the right lane. And it's like that annoying GPS that you. By the way, have you ever done that? Holler at your GPS, have a disagreement.
Yeah, I'm not. It's say reroute or make a U-turn, make a U-turn, make a U-turn. I don't want to make a U-turn. I'm going up here and I'm turning right. Make a U-turn. I don't want to.
Me and the GPS have had many arguments, and I won't say.
Ever win one?
Do what?
Did you ever win one with your GPS?
Oh, every time I told them to shut up, and if they didn't listen, I shut them up. That's winning, brother. I just turned it off. I knew where I was at by then. I really only had it on most of
GPS on.
Really, the only reason I had it on was just looking at time factor and stuff like that. And it got annoying because I decided to do a different thing, rerouting. Rerouting.
It seems like nowadays
at the next road, you need to turn right.
Nowadays, I have to approach things a lot differently. Used to when I was driving, if I drove somewhere, I knew how to get there, and I could get right back there because I drove it and I got it. I'm there. I can't do that now. I'm not driving, I'm riding, and I'm really not paying that close of attention to where we're going. So we'll be going somewhere, and I won't have a clue as to where we're at and where we're going. And my wife will be driving, and I'll be like, do you need me to turn on GPS? No, I got this. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. I know where I'm going. And I'm like, but I could turn it on real quick because because I ain't got a clue as to where I need to learn just to be quiet and ride.
First time I went to Texas, I had just bought this TomTom, and it was great all the way out there. We didn't have a problem, and but on the way back, we got some areas of Texas where it just went blank. But if you kind of know, if you have a good idea of direction and where you're at, a good old boy can find his way. And that's what I did. And it was all the way. I had to get back on the interstate before it ever picked back up. By then, I didn't need it. I'm just riding on the interstate then. I don't need it.
For those moments like that, with all of them, even now, we need to go back and reference a great movie. When it gets just where it just don't know where you're at, and it goes, Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore, or
yeah.
y'all have made the wrong turn.
I've pulled up into some sketchy areas, not knowing. It was a long time ago. I was looking for, I don't remember what I was looking for, but I think I was looking for somebody's house or something. I turned up this road, and the further I got back in there, and there was nowhere to turn around. It was like you feel like you're going back in time to a place you've never been, where they might just be cannibals or something. It looked bad. I mean, they're, and I said, I got to get out of here. I just found the first place I could and got turned around. It was bad. I mean, I was thinking I wouldn't come back here with a whole fleet of police officers. It was that bad. I don't know what it was. I just got out of there. It's like, no way out.
I'm thinking about putting signs up on my road, because I still have people coming down here all the time and turn around. I got no trespassing signs down here at the end of it, but it's like, my yard is very soft because a bunch of dirt's washed out in there. And if they come down here and they try to turn around, they're liable to get stuck. And I'm trying to avoid all that. I don't want my yard all boogered up. But I'm thinking about putting some signs up, turn back now. No trespassing, great big signs, danger ahead, warning, wife is a great shot and scares easy. Just these signs, and go away, go back now. I'm thinking about it.
You should get a sign that says Gator Crossing or something like that.
Oh, that just brings it down here. They'd want to see the alligator. Get one. What is it? Gnat crossing. Save our gnats. Don't drive down here gnat breeding season. I don't know.
Michael, that's I'm interested by this thing he's put up here. I'll pop this up. Yeah. Moonshine County. Talk about
country. I think he meant country.
Yeah.
In Calhoun County. Okay.
But moonshine. Oh, man.
Moonshine. If you was in moonshine country by yourself looking around places you shouldn't have been, yeah, you needed a gun.
Look at that one. It says we buy all moonshine country.
We bury all. Oh, my goodness.
Now, you just got to be careful when you're out doing about. You can get, you can get turned around, especially if you're out in an area where the service is spotty. Nowadays, it's a lot of things. It's hard for it to do that. There's still those times.
Oh yeah.
You get off on a pig trail somewhere, and you don't know where you're at, and it just seems to get worse. Yeah. And you ever went somewhere, we talked about this a little bit, but you ever went somewhere And it was one of those times we didn't like to admit, but we did want to ask a little directions. And you went, they knew you wasn't from around there, and you went in and asked direction, and they just stood and looked at you.
And then when they gave you the directions, you wondered if they were right.
Yeah, I'm serious, man. It was like Chevy Chase in the Vacation movie, about how and they're stealing his tires. But I don't know, it's my wife would go, "Did you get directions?" I'm like, "Well, I got some directions. I'm just not sure." Because the look they gave me was like, "Oh yeah, he's one of them."
We're gonna have some fun with this guy.
Oh yeah. 2 hours later,
all the way back at his house before he knows it.
Well, and for them, I mean, they just know the area they don't know it by street or whatever. They just know old gyms or the wreck Dodge or just sitting out in the yard. The the moonshine guy. Or, it might be directions like that. And you're like, who, what, when, where? I mean, what are you giving me here? I don't even know what that is.
When you give directions to people, if it involves, part of your direction involves, and turn to the left when you pass the big field up here on the right that has those two big bulls in it. They're usually standing up there in the front corner. You just drive right on up there and hang a left when you see them two bulls in the corner of that field. You might be one of us.
might be one of us.
Let's see.
Well, and have you ever? Here's another one. Thank you, Paul. Hey, there's old Paul Putnam, man. I hadn't talked to him in a while, except a little bit on Facebook. Glad to have you in the stream this morning.
Good morning, Paul.
Thank you for saying that. For those that don't know, we do a Monday through Friday morning scripture reading in Romans right now. Now, I remember, Paul, that was one of your, if not your favorite book of the Bible. I remember you telling me that. So good to have you in here. But have you ever gave somebody directions before and right after they left, you went, "Oh man, those were the wrong directions." you got twisted in your head and you realized you missed one important component to the directions.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Wait," and they're already gone. Like, oh man.
Like, they're gonna think I did this on purpose.
Yeah, they're gonna hate me for the rest of my life.
Shoot my house, knock down my mailbox. It's something real quick too. All right, when you leave out of here, turn left, and then you go up here and do this and that and that. And you should have told them to turn right when they left the house. You see them go out and go left, and you're like, "Did I tell them to do that?"
What would be the great life irony though if one day you went to ask somebody directions and it was them? And they went, awesome. Yeah, you're the direction guy. I remember you. We got some directions for. Oh yeah, we're going to take care of you.
Don't you worry none. We got this, big boy. When you get up here on the interstate.
Yeah, be one of life's ironies, Yeah. Thanks for those directions. The kids were crying. The wife was complaining. Yeah. I said, "Don't worry, that guy. He had an honest face." Of course, they'd never say that. They'd never say that about us, Robert. But he had an honest face, and he looked like the kind of guy I could trust. I know he wouldn't lead me wrong. Oh.
The worst thing I could think of would be give someone directions. Say you live up there in Tennessee, right? And we all up there in Tennessee, we tried our best. We weren't always successful, but we tried to stay out of Alabama if we could. There's just times when we couldn't, and that was in the northwest corner of the state. I got this thing about corners. I like living in corners. I was in the northwest corner, and I'm in the southwest corner. But anyway, so we'd be driving along, and I'd be like, "Okay, we're okay as long as people could still tell their left from their right. We're good." And then you get someplace, and a buddy of mine told me, said, "Well, I'll be right up there on the left-hand side of the road." And I pulled up there, and he was on the right-hand side. And I knew I was wrong.
It is amazing to me, Robert, how many people do not know their right from their left. Yeah. I didn't realize that was a real thing. Now, back in the war between the states, it is well known that, as a military, you got to march in step, and they give the cadence off. They didn't know right from left. A lot of them old farm boys, they never heard that term. So a lot of the Southern boys, it was hay foot, straw foot. I mean, that's how they could keep them in time. It's how they learned to march. They just didn't know it. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know. But have you ever been with somebody, and I'm going to be very careful here, 'cause I'm going to get in real trouble. I'm not saying who, but have you ever told somebody, you're the passenger driver, helper, we'll say a helper, and you say, okay, when you get up here, take a left, and you see them looking right, and you go, your other left. We will not say who that was.
I don't know. Or your military left.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh.
That's a lot. Well, since you mentioned military, that's like military time. Don't you just love sometimes to throw things in military time and watch people's face go blank? Like,
yeah.
What's that?
I figure you at 0600.
Oh, man. We used to have, we used to have at work, we used to have our stuff was on military time. We'd have to do our inspection reports and stuff that way. That's really how I really, really learned it was doing that. But there's a lot of people today. That's like, things have just went by the wayside. It's like the Morse code.
Yeah.
That's almost gone, man. But you know what? That's really a great skill to have. I mean, but even in military, they don't really use that anymore. It's just so many other ways to communicate.
And I'm going to throw this out there. If I have to use Morse code, I better be on the phone so you can hear me. Because I can do SOS, that's about it. But if it's that big of an emergency, I want you to hear me say, help. And Paul, you are absolutely right about manners.
Yeah. Well, see, Paul, in a previous program, we said that we need the Southern Fried podcast alarm clock, that says it's time to get up. It's time to start your day, Paul. Wake up now. And we figured out that for Robert, that would never get him out of bed. He'd smash it before we ever got that. We were going to do a trial with him on it, have that kind of voice.
No,
he needs one that screams.
What I need when I get up in the morning is, baby, get up. It's time for you to get up and get at them. Woo-wee, doggy. See, I could do that. I might not even shoot it because it might be some kinfolk. No.
I hope you're not trying to impersonate your wife there. I hope that's not how you're saying it. She sounds getting you.
No. Absolutely not. No.
Oh, man. You better be careful here.
What? No, that is not.
You said that's what you need. I mean, you just come right out with that. I'm wondering. I don't know.
No.
I'm not saying she talks that way.
My wife is wonderful. She gets me up.
Well,
She is my strength in the mornings. I am not a morning person unless I'm going fishing. But yeah. She is, they say behind every good and successful man, there's a very smart woman. And she is very smart and she is very intelligent. Her taste in men is impeccable. But she is just a wonderful person. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, he's working that side of the street hard.
Well, I left my door open. I don't know for sure if she could hear me or not.
Man, every once in a while she pops
but you know
in
what?
here.
I don't say anything behind her back.
You don't.
I would not say to her.
That's true.
And,
you don't.
That's
why
I do, Paul, get in trouble quite often.
That's why that's why the back of his head is so flat, because he got smacked back there a few times.
And it started with my mom.
Well, yeah, and your mom, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I should have paid more heed to what she was saying when I was growing up, but some of that stuff's just life lessons. It's just too hard to learn.
You learn them the hard way sometimes.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, it's been great to be with you on this Monday morning. We'll be back this evening, hopefully, with a Mama Said program live. That's another program we're doing live. So we already got our topic for tonight for the live. What is it that Mama said, Robert? Every kid knows.
In the world, we gonna spell that in the title. But how many times does your mama go or you know? Usually, just before you did something really bad, it was
your hand learned to come back really fast after hearing that sound. So that is something that Mama said.
Yes, Mama talked like a dolphin.
Hey, Paul, be sure to join the Cornbread Nation there on Facebook too if you hadn't already. If you don't, I'll send you an invite. Be a breadhead with us. We got, but folks, we really were supposed to have it this week. We got to get together. Our merch store is fixing to pop. We're going to have that soon. Robert, we got to get that this week. We just got to get together and set up a couple things. You too. It's great to see you. Thanks for popping in, Paul. Always a brother in Christ. You're knocking out of the park, you and your lovely wife. It's great to see all the great things going on with y'all. Michael, God bless you. Hope you're getting better today, feeling better. Daniel, I'm not saying the other word for him. You can say it, Robert. Thanks for popping in and saying hi. And all the other morning show folks, have a great day. We thank you for watching. We'll see you tonight. Hopefully our next morning live is Wednesday, Hump Day, and we have Hump Day News Live that night. So we have double shows on Wednesday and Friday. We have, of course, Friday night's Front Porch Talking. Morning shows Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Friday edition, you made it to the weekend. So this is the start of your work week. Go get her. Go get it done. Get her done.
Love y'all. Have a great day, and God bless you.